What if the dream God placed in your heart is the very thing that causes others to turn against you? What if the path to your purpose begins not with applause, but with rejection, betrayal, and silence? Today we journey into one of the most powerful and emotional stories in the Bible, the story of Joseph and his coat of many colors. A story of favor, jealousy, suffering, and a destiny no hardship could destroy. Joseph was the son of Jacob, born in his father's old age, and Jacob loved him more than all his other sons. To show that special love, Jacob gave Joseph a beautiful robe, a coat of many colors. It was not just clothing, it was a symbol, a sign of favor, a declaration that Joseph was different. But favor often attracts attention, and not always the good kind. Joseph's brothers saw the coat, and their hearts filled with jealousy. Every time Joseph wore it, it reminded them that their father loved him more. And then things became worse. Joseph began having dreams. In one dream, he and his brothers were binding sheaves in the field, and their sheaves bowed down to his. In another, the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed before him. When Joseph shared these dreams, his brothers did not see a message from God. They saw arrogance. They saw a threat. Their jealousy turned into hatred. One day, Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers who were tending sheep far from home. When they saw him coming, that colorful coat visible from a distance, their anger reached a breaking point. "Here comes the dreamer," they said. At first, they plotted to kill him. But one brother, Reuben, convinced them not to shed blood. Instead, they stripped Joseph of his coat, the symbol of his father's love, and threw him into a deep, empty pit. Imagine the fear, the confusion, the betrayal. These were not strangers. These were his brothers. Joseph must have cried out, asked why, pleaded for mercy. But the Bible tells us something chilling. They sat down to eat as if nothing had happened. Soon after, a caravan of traders passed by on their way to Egypt. Judah suggested they sell Joseph instead of killing him. For 20 pieces of silver, Joseph was sold as a slave. His brothers dipped his coat in animal blood and brought it back to their father, who believed his beloved son had been torn apart by wild animals. Joseph lost his home, his family, his freedom, his future, or so it seemed. But what his brothers meant for harm, God was already turning towards something greater. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh. Even as a slave, Joseph carried something powerful, the presence of God. Everything he did prospered. Potiphar noticed and put Joseph in charge of his entire household. It looked like Joseph's life was turning around. But favor does not always prevent trials. Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph when he refused her advances. And once again, Joseph's life collapsed. He was thrown into prison, not for something he did wrong, but for doing what was right. Betrayed by his brothers, betrayed by lies, forgotten behind prison walls. Have you ever done the right thing and still suffered? Have you ever wondered why obedience did not bring immediate reward? Joseph could have become bitter. He could have given up on God. But even in prison, the Bible says the Lord was with him. He served faithfully. He worked diligently. And soon, he was placed in charge of the prison itself. While there, Joseph interpreted the dreams of 2 prisoners, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker. His interpretations came true exactly. Before the cupbearer was released, Joseph asked him to remember him before Pharaoh. But the cupbearer forgot. 2 more years passed. 2 years of silence. 2 years of waiting. 2 years of wondering. Then one night, Pharaoh had troubling dreams that no one could interpret. Suddenly, the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Joseph was brought out of prison and stood before Pharaoh. With God's wisdom, he interpreted the dreams. 7 years of abundance would be followed by 7 years of famine. He advised Pharaoh to store grain during the good years. Pharaoh was amazed. In a single moment, Joseph went from prisoner to ruler. Pharaoh placed him second in command over all Egypt. The boy with the coat of many colors had become the man with authority over a nation. And then the famine came. It spread beyond Egypt, reaching even the land where Joseph's family lived. Desperate for food, his brothers traveled to Egypt, not knowing the powerful official they would meet was the brother they had betrayed years earlier. When Joseph saw them, he recognized them immediately. The moment he had dreamed about as a young boy was happening. They were bowing before him. But Joseph did not respond with revenge. He tested them, observed their hearts, and finally, unable to contain his emotions, he revealed himself. "I am Joseph," he said. His brothers were terrified. They expected punishment. They expected anger. Instead, Joseph spoke words that echo through generations. "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good, to bring about this present result, to preserve many lives." Joseph forgave them. He provided for them. He saved the very people who had once thrown him into a pit. This story is not just about a coat. It is about purpose. It is about how God works through pain, delay, injustice, and hardship to accomplish something far greater than we can see. Joseph's journey teaches us powerful truths for today. First, favor does not mean an easy life. Being chosen by God does not exempt you from challenges. In fact, sometimes your calling is the reason for the struggle. Second, your current situation is not your final destination. Joseph went from favored son to slave, from slave to prisoner, from prisoner to ruler. God was working in every season, even when Joseph could not see it. Third, character matters more than comfort. Joseph stayed faithful when no one was watching. He chose integrity over temporary escape, and that faithfulness prepared him for greater responsibility. Fourth, delays are not denials. Those years in prison were not wasted. They were preparation. God's timing positioned Joseph exactly where he needed to be at the exact right moment. And finally, forgiveness sets you free. Joseph could have held on to bitterness. Instead, he chose grace. And through that choice, restoration came not only to his life, but to his entire family. Today, many people feel like Joseph. Maybe you have been overlooked. Maybe you have been betrayed. Maybe you are in a season that feels like a pit or a prison. Maybe your dreams feel distant or impossible. But Joseph's story reminds us, God sees you in the pit. God is with you in the prison. And God is working behind the scenes, aligning circumstances you cannot yet understand. What others meant to harm you, God can turn into something powerful. Your struggle may be the preparation for your purpose. Your delay may be positioning you for something greater. Your pain may become someone else's salvation. So do not give up. Stay faithful. Keep your integrity. Keep trusting. The same God who walked with Joseph is walking with you. Your story is not over. The coat may be gone, the dream may feel distant, but the promise of God is still alive. And when the right time comes, what God has planned for you will unfold in ways you never imagined. If this story encouraged you today, remember this. God is always working, even when life does not make sense. Hold on to your faith. Your breakthrough may be closer than you think. Thank you so much for watching. If this message inspired you, please like this video. Share your thoughts or prayer requests in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. Do not forget to click the notification bell so you will be notified every time we upload a new video. Your support helps us continue sharing powerful Bible stories that inspire faith, hope, and purpose. See you in the next video.